they got worse. I definitely don't think they got worse. When I look at this Rockets team and you look at how they're configured and you look at James Harden and his ball-dominant play and Russell Westbrook and how he wants to slash and get to the basket, you add a big in there and it draws too much attention. It draws defenders into the paint. You now eliminate the big, which they've played this way pretty much all season anyway. They've gone small ball this way. This is how they operate. To spread the ball, spread the perimeter, spread the guys out, let James Harden operate, let Russell Westbrook operate, and have running lanes, passing lanes, and lanes to get to the rack so that they can create for other guys and shooters. You get a Robert Covington who can shoot, who can defend, who is a big wing player. He adds that to their arsenal now. So I don't think that we've seen enough. They beat the Lakers on last week. They played another game, and then they lost to the Suns.
By about 36. Yeah.
Without Russell Westbrook. And so we haven't seen enough of the sample size right now with this core group of guys that they have. But I don't think they got any worse by going small ball permanently.
Yeah. I'm not buying into this. This is another gimmick situation. I expected when they had that first game against the Lakers that they'd all get out of a mini car and they'd throw confetti and it would be like the circus. Come on, Greg, you're not going to win a championship with a small lineup like this. It's just not going to happen. I don't care how much sample size you want to see. This, again, is their GM, Daryl Morey, just grasping for straws. It was just 2 years ago. They were a game away from the Western Conference Finals with Chris Paul hurt. They didn't have to blow the team up. The team was right there. They could have stayed with that team, continued to work, and just say, let's get all our guys healthy. What did he do? He blew the team up. Chris Paul, get away.
Chris Paul and Harden had some beef.
Chris Paul is playing great this year. Is he not?
He is.
All right? For the Thunder. So they could have still had him. Capella was a big part of that team as well. Leave that team together. There was no reason to panic. This is not going to get it done. Chris, I'm not buying into the Rockets and that there's any chance that they're any closer. To me, they got no chance to win now.
Just really quick before you go, Chris, I didn't say they're winning a championship.
I know you did.
I just want to make that abundantly clear.
You just said that you haven't seen enough.
The question was, did they get worse?
Did they get worse?
Yeah, yes, they got worse to winning a championship.
Rob, congratulations. Finally, what, 42 minutes of the show? You've come into the light. I finally agree with you. Yeah, look, I've said it before. Before this trade with Clint Capella, they had no shot at winning the championship. They were fun to watch. They were a hoot. They were a blast. They were sexy, must-see TV. And after the trade, it's the same thing. They'll win 50-some-odd games. They can't win a championship like this. Now, you brought up a great point. Daryl Morey, who's a good GM, but he's overrated because everybody thinks he's this phenomenal GM. He's obsessed with big names. He's obsessed with making moves. As you said, yeah, Chris Paul and James Harden were at odds. I get it. Leadership is you sit them down with the coach and you say, we got to work this out. They were better. As great as Westbrook is, and he's better at this stage or more dynamic than a Chris Paul, but Chris Paul is a better spot-up shooter. Chris Paul is a better position defender. Is a better fit. They had a legitimate chance to win the championship then. Now they don't. At this stage, they're just throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what works. And I understand why they did it, because they knew, like we did, they had no chance. So now let's open up the lane for the first time in Westbrook's career. And in his 2 games without Clint Capella, he's looked like an MVP. Yeah, he scored 40 points a game on 50% shooting. He's only taken 4 threes, and he's hit 2 of them. So I get that. And it makes what I do like about it, because I think maybe they got a little better. They still won't beat the Lakers or the Clippers, but maybe they got a little better because it also makes them less Harden-centric. If you watch them now when Russ is there, now it's a legitimate 2 superstars.
It is.
Russ is getting his just as much as Harden is getting his. Harden had a triple-double with 28 points in their last game. And look, they had Utah beat. They lost on a wild last-second shot. So I think they may have gotten slightly better, but no, I agree with you. They're not winning anything.
Largely right. The problem is this is unsustainable, right? This 3-point barrage. They're attempting 50 to 60 threes a game. If you guys remember the Warriors' death lineup back when they had Harrison Barnes, they had a small lineup, but they only played them at the end of the first half and at the end of the game. Without a center, you got Russell Westbrook and these guys boxing out all game, battling the bigs. It's not going to work. I will say this about Morey, to Chris's point. it's at least a shot in the dark. I know you guys play Monopoly a lot. I play with my kids. If I'm losing, which is rare, I will throw a Hail Mary trade out there for a long shot chance to come back. This is what the Rockets did. They had no chance, as you said, with Capella. They probably don't have a chance now, but I'll tell you this. If they happen to get hot against, say, the Clippers, who have a small lineup, and they make, 50% threes, they can take down somebody in a series.
I think
they can take down Utah in the first round.
I think they would have a better chance. You're right. They may match up with a Utah.
Yeah.
I think they'd have a better chance of beating the Lakers than the Clippers, because the Clippers can go small, still be bigger than them, but go small and have probably better shooting on the perimeter.
Yeah, the Clippers,
than
Lakers,
the Rockets do.
but they'll have a chance for a series or two, but to go to the finals, no shot. No shot whatsoever.
And, look, it puts so much pressure on their players. I mean, Westbrook has to drive all game long and be explosive and phenomenal. Harden and the rest of the guys have to hit all their threes. The reason they lost to Golden State, what they missed, 27 straight threes or something?
Right, that was the reason.
It's tough to play that way in a 7-game series because you got really no room for error.
If it were anyone other than Russell Westbrook, I would agree with that. But this is who he's been. This is what he's had to do his entire career, is to literally go 48 minutes, however long it takes, up and down the court, playing both ways, getting to the rack. He's done it his entire career. He's been a stat filler his entire career. I don't mind it, and I think we all agree that, well, except with the exception of Rob, that they did not get worse.
I don't think they got worse
because of this. I'm not at all on the bandwagon of saying that they're going to win the championship. Neither was I before the trade.
I just when I say they got worse, I'm talking about in their pursuit of winning a championship.
You're talking about over the last few years.
Right. From where they were a couple years ago to where they are now.
Okay, so going back a couple years, the problem with Chris Paul, and I know you're a big fan, he wears people out. Blake Griffin and Chris Paul here with the Clippers hated each other. James Harden and Chris Paul,
Chris is
by the end last year,
Chris
hated
is
each
right.
other.
Look, sometimes you got to sit down and be like, dude, we have a shot. We need to work.
You don't think they tried that?
You could work with people every day and not like them.
Absolutely.
Okay, but we could still work. Right. It works for us if we can just get past this. We don't have to go to dinner. We don't have to do all that. Let's play 48 minutes, give ourselves a chance to win a championship. Don't tell me that Chris Paul wouldn't want to win a championship, or James Harden. Like, if you could convince them.
But they choked twice against the Warriors.
I get it.
Well, they led at home in Game 7 by 10 at halftime and choked it away against the Warriors.
They didn't have Chris Paul.
Well, that was 2 years ago. No, that was 2 years ago.
That's what I'm talking about.
In Game 7,
that's what I'm saying, but he got hurt.
Yeah, but still, they led by 10 at halftime.
Chris Paul was saying, look, I've sacrificed my game. I've been on the ball my whole career. I've gotten off the ball to try to win a championship. We haven't done it. And nobody, Mike D'Antoni, who I'm in the minority, I think he's a Hall of Fame coach.
You're very much in the minority.
I get that.
No, he won with the Knicks, and nobody wins with the Knicks.
But he's a one-trick pony. And he's not telling them to change and make adjustments, and he wouldn't tell Harden to make some adjustments. Now, they're going to change just because of the way they play now without Capella, but D'Antoni's not saying, James, let's, get Russ more involved. No, it's just going to happen organically, and that's part of the problem in Houston. Is Daryl Morey or Mike D'Antoni going to sit guys down and say, we need to make some changes? You guys need to get along at least on the court because we got a chance to win.
You think it's really easy to sit Russell Westbrook down?
No, it's not easy.
At this stage in his career, and say, hey, man,
I wouldn't sit, though. No, I mean, at this point, they made their move. Now Westbrook can play as he plays. I'm saying they should have done it with Chris and James. And whether it's easy or not, that's why you're getting paid millions of dollars as a leader.
Chris Paul, will you chill out a little bit and stop yelling at guys on the court? I mean, everybody's hated you everywhere you've gone.
You're the leader of the organization.
Chris Paul's not a leader.
It's part of your job description.
You think it's easy
if a GM can't sit, now maybe the players don't do it.
Yeah.
But you got to put in. You got to take a shot.
We don't know that they're trying. They could be trying behind the scenes. They have to.
There have been plenty of teams that have won championships where guys didn't get along. I mean, it
happens almost every year.
Right.
Where teams they have some type of friction and you have to resolve. And winning has to be at the forefront. We've seen it with the Patriots. We see it across sports in general. If winning is not priority, all the other little things become a little distraction and they pull you away from winning. So I don't buy the whole point of that you can't sit somebody down. No, you can. And make sure that everybody understands we got one goal, and that's just to win.
Final word, Chris Broussard, are the Rockets getting out of the first round?
I think they'll, I mean, what are they, the 5th seed right now?
They would play Utah right now.
Whew.
Hey, that would be
be
better
tough.
than Russell Westbrook the last 2 years in OKC.
You know, look,
I think they
if
would get Utah.
they might, because they played them well. It was in Houston, granted, but
It just comes down to the threes. If they're shooting 40%,
I'm going to say
for threes,
yes. I'm just going to give them that.
and then that would place the
give
Lakers
them
second
that.
round. All right, coming up next are Kawhi's Clippers. Oh, my goodness. Actually better than LeBron's Lakers? That's a tough